We're on Zubin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another enthralling episode of Coffee and Commerce. Delighted to be here with the man, the myth, the legend, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I haven't shaved Zubin, so I'm trying to keep up with you. I know we have a bunch of questions this week, which I'm excited about. So why don't you tell everybody about the format this week?
Let's do them. So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to bring a bunch of individuals who ask questions for us, ask us questions on Twitter. We're going to bring them live. We're going to answer their questions and go through it. So it's an interactive episode for you. Hope you get a lot of value out of it. And without further ado, let's do it, Dustin. Let's bring our first guest on.
Hey, Gary. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Doing well. My name is Matt. I'm 17, looking to get into e-commerce. My first question is there such thing as a too saturated e-commerce niche? And the second, sorry, it's like a two-part question.
No worries,
and then, how does a brand differentiate itself from other brands to build social proof and drive conversions to how does one differentiate between two competing brands?
First of all, you need to say hi to Zubin too, because he's very upset when people just say hi to me.
Sorry, how are you? Sorry about that.
What's up, Matt? What's going on?
Zubin, you want to take it? You want to take a? I'll answer the first one, and you jump into the second one. Matt, there's never an oversaturated market. There's always the right time to be the best at something. Like at any moment. I mean, you don't understand because you're a youngster how legit Yahoo search engine was. It was just like Google. But actually, you know what's so funny? I literally thought about this the other day. I'm like, I wonder if Google should be disrupted. It's been so long. Why can't Mowlavi just come out and be the best search engine of all time? The other one I've been thinking a ton about is Twitter. Between Facebook, then Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, it's all feed pictures, written words. But the only words only for the most part, or quick or real time, is Twitter. I think both Google, search engine, and Twitter are companies that are potentially disruptable over the next decade if somebody comes along and does something incredible. So if I believe that about Twitter and Google, the hell do you think about what I think about an e-commerce category like t-shirts or hats or cannabis or whatever? Zubin?
Yeah, totally. The other part of it is, Matt, too, you're talking about niche, right? You're talking about a very specific niche. If this was back in the day, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you lived in a specific town, you'd be like, are there enough people in this town that I can sell this niche product to? The reality is, to Gary's point, first of all, there's millions of consumers buying online. E-com is only growing. E-com sales are going to reach 800 billion this year, right, in the US. When you take a look at all that, what you realize is that there's a phenomenal amount of opportunity. But the thing to understand is who you're selling to and why. What Gary talks about a lot, and we talk about in meetings as well, is around content, understanding your audience and being able to produce content and creating an environment for them that's real and legitimate for that audience. And I think that's really the key when we're talking about niche. I'm of the personal opinion, we get a lot of these questions on Twitter and whatnot about drop shipping. I'm not big on drop shipping myself. I prefer products that have some meaning, some category. You're building it for a purpose.
Real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, Zubin. I think Zubin's right in the macro, but I will say this because I think Zubin, you're in a new world where your words carry a ton of weight. So the hedge is super important. I know exactly why you said drop shipping you're not in love with because you're thinking chess. I think you'd probably agree with me that if you're a kid with $850, doing a little bit of drop shipping is a crazy learning curve, right? Right? I just wanted to make sure because I know who's listening and how, and I know
and you're bringing absolutely to your point, Matt, right? Matt, if you want to spend a little bit of money, you want to learn the business, drop shipping is a great way to do it, right? What I'm getting at is, and we're talking about scaling businesses and whatnot.
I looked into that, and the thing with it is you can't have control over shipping or customer service, and
you're completely
coming from China.
You're completely vulnerable, Matt. But when you have $900, and you really want to be e-commerce, the alternative is really flip life. But I just want people to get reps. I'm not scared of anybody losing all their money. I think trying to learn how to buy something and sell it, and the process of is fucking huge. It just helps you so much. I believe the reason that Vaynerx, the company that holds VaynerMedia, holds VaynerCommerce, is going to win the whole thing is I'm blindly consumer centric. All I care about is the consumer. I don't care about all the boardroom stuff or the debates or the philosophy or the Harvard Business School or the reports or the Bain and McKinley. I'm real life. And the reason I'm good at real life is because I do it.
Matt, one of the things I learned early on when my father was selling stuff in the newspaper and classifieds and whatever, there was a limited space. So every time he'd have to figure out new ways to say more, cut the stuff, etc. And just watching that, you learn so much from it. To Gary's point, it's all about those reps. You get those reps in, you get better at it. So however you can, get those reps in.
Matt, at 17, I would do the e-com business about the number one thing you're into because it's then more fun and you'll have more energy to do it than trying to fucking thread the needle on the perfect white space. That it's fucking 2020. Everything's being done. Nobody's inventing shit. The white space is, are you fucking better than somebody?
Yeah.
Matt, great to have you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
It's fun. Let's keep it going.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Zubin. My name is Ayman. I'm 15 years old. And my question is how to be a first mover in audio, podcast, and virtual reality platform. As you guys say that audio is going to be the next big boom.
For you, Ahmad, I would say it is to make content on Twitter and LinkedIn specifically, but other places, talking about your interest and curiosity in it, and you doing a lot of educating. I talk a lot about, I shit on school a lot, but I educate myself heavy. I read thousands of hours worth of baseball card information in the 80s. I read tens of thousands of hours of information in the Wine Spectator and the wine business. When the internet came along, I was on message boards 24/7, learning. The way you'll be a first mover is to be part of the community. The way to be a part of the community is to write and make videos about it, but not acting like an expert, acting like a part of the community. Questions, curiosities, answering people's questions as you become more educated. Become part of the community that you want to be a first mover in. And what that means is you bring value and you extract learnings, and that's the game for me. Zubin?
Yeah, Gary's the master at this, right? The only thing I'll comment on is VR and the fact that certain technologies like VR require additional hardware that many people don't have. So I would take a step back from VR and say, okay, what else is there in that space that will eventually lead to VR? Potentially AR. Look at stuff like that, the technology that you can actually leverage on the devices that people own right now.
100%. And you're 15, as you might have seen from me before. VR scares me because I have VCs who want to put $10 million into a company today that needs to win next year. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. But at 15, if you want to be the guy for VR, there's a good chance by the time you're 29, 36, things are popping off. What you don't know at 15 is that 29 and 36 is an extremely young man. So putting in real work and being part of that world is a big deal and a huge opportunity if you're fascinated by it.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, my friend. Rico Nick on Facebook. What's good, Brian?
Hey, what's good, Gary? What's up, Zubin?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Gary, before I jump into my question, I have to tell you this story because I might not ever get a chance again.
Please.
You held a Zoom call on sports cards about a month ago.
Yes.
And halfway through, somebody hacked the chat apparently and was sending obscene messages and stuff.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and they hacked it. And then I saw my name up there with the messages going by. I'm like, oh no, what's going on? And then for a second, Gary was like,
Brian did.
Really, Brian Daniels is bringing value to this chat.
Yes, I remember, bro. And then I did, and by the way, I did see you be like, "That's not me." I did catch that on my. Yeah, I love that. That's great, bro. Did you save that clip? That would just be epic.
Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I had recorded it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody edited it out.
You know what? I know somebody. Dustin, I'm sure. Dustin, are you here behind producing? Dustin, find out from the team if we recorded that. I think we did. Let's chop up the part and send it to Brian.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was a funny moment. So I'm just glad that I actually came full circle and actually got to talk to you. All right. So my question is, I have a product that's fairly unique, kind of niche. We make granola bars using spent grain from local craft breweries. So, using the repurposing upcycle angle. And it's kind of like it appeals to different segments, the people that are health conscious, the people that care about sustainability, and people that like craft beer too. And sometimes those intersections kind of conflict. So that I have a lot of people that like the product, or the hook is the beer, or the beer aspect of it, but they want to know if it has beer in it or if it's good for their kids, kind of thing. So, and it is, it's all good.
It's not in conflict. You just have to communicate on multiple fronts. I communicate as a friend. I communicate as a wine guy. I communicate as a sports card commentator. I communicate as a businessman, an operator. I communicate in a lot of lanes. People, for some reason, think multiple stories conflict. I think they add on.
Okay.
I think it's a thesis. I think it's a philosophy. You don't want to mix your message. It's shit you hear from B school people that are making complete judgment based on non-practicality and based on a television world where we're really talking about a commercial and pushing it down. We are now consumer up, not TV down. And so I don't think, why does it conflict? And, some people might care about 2 of the 3, some may care about 1 of the 3. I don't see the confliction. I really don't. And this is a debate I have with a lot of people.
Sure. Yeah.
Brian, what you might be seeing is you're saying, okay, look, I've got a site, I've got my social. What do I talk about? What do I lead with? What do I do secondarily?
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. And then what you do is, and we talk about this frequently, but build landing pages for each of those segments.
Yes.
Drive traffic to those and figure out which one is actually meaningful for you in the long term. Because the other problem too is, for so long, brands were focused on just that initial sell, that they weren't thinking of customers that actually love them and are going to buy their products often and are going to tell other people about them. That's the game now. Forget about selling your product at whatever high return on ad spend, low CAC you're looking at. Find those groups, as you mentioned, that are going to love your product, talk about it, and you can actually build an entire company around them.
Gotcha. That's
100%. Like, notice what Zubin said about the landing pages. Companies, and thus a lot of the education, still act as if the internet doesn't exist.
Right.
I had to make a choice when you walked into my Pop's liquor store what the first display was going to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but with your website, to Zubin's point, you can have 3 separate landing pages, and when you make beer content, the URL can point to the beer landing page.
They don't even walk in their front door anymore. You just put them into an aisle.
That's exactly right.
No, that's
Love
perfect.
it. Let's move it. All right, Brian, I'm glad we connected. We'll
Great
get
to
back
meet you, Ryan.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
See you.
Thanks, Zubin.
Before we get to the next person, big shout out to Jacob Mysak. Thank you for saying that. Eric Dyer, thanks for a nice comment. I see all of you. Melissa Lee, what's good? I see all of you. Megan Elon, let's keep it going.
Hey, Zubin, Gary, how you doing? Good to see you again, Gary.
Great to see you, Dustin.
I brought a friend just in case.
A beautiful friend. Pistol Pete, baby.
Hey, kind of a big picture question, but and maybe this is a little bit extreme, but 10, 15 years down the road, just from what we've seen during the pandemic, but also pre-pandemic, where you see Amazon taking over the world as far as online retail, and you guys are big guys in e-commerce. In 10, 15 years, are we going to walk into a brick and mortar retail store anymore? Are people going to go to office space, or is it going to kind of all move remotely? What are you going to see for retail moving forward down the line?
I actually am chomping at the bit to open a physical retail business.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think people grossly underestimate how long things take. I've learned this is from experience. I launched an e-commerce wine business in 1996. I said by the year 2000, everybody's going to know this is, by the way, this is a sneaky mistake that turned into an incredible advantage in building my dad's business. I said in the year 2000, this is why I understand that kids are impatient, because in 1996, when you're 21, 4 years from now is like a high percentage of your life. That's like 20% of my life. That seemed like a long time. Yeah. So like in year 2000, if the Y2K bug doesn't destroy us,
right,
everybody's going to walk into every store in the country and know the price of everything. I already kind of had a hunch of smartphones. I was like, your phone, this is embarrassing to say. I was like, people are going to buy a plug-in for a scanner, and they're going to be able to scan the UPC of any item, and the phone is going to tell you. I mean, this is like where my head was at. And So what I did was I literally had a developer run a script for me scraping the 55 websites. There was only 55 other wine stores in 1997 when I had this hypothesis. And there was one big website, Wine Access, and we scraped it. And I knew the prices of every wine in the country, and I would update it once a week, and I would lower my prices in my dad's store. And then a site by the name of Wine Dash Searcher came out and mapped it for the industry. And I would price every wine by a penny less minimally than everybody else, and became the cost leader because I had this great fear that by the year 2000, everybody would know the price of everything, right? Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening was I learned how to run a business by having such low margin on 5,000 popular items, and then figured that business out, which was great. And it also taught me the lesson of what you're asking right now. There will be an ungodly amount of stores in 15 years. They may be more experiential. They may offer different value props, but they will be there.
Two quick takes for you. One, Gary talking about scraping reminded me when I was a kid, when I was 15 years old, I did what Gary hired that guy to do for a muffler shop, a set of muffler shops in Illinois. And I would go through every single day and scrape the prices of both of their competitors as well as the distributors and find out who they should buy from every day. So that was my job. Second thought, Amazon's obviously the number one online retailer in the US. You know who number two is? Shopify. You combine all of the Shopify store revenues, they are number two.
Wow.
Why does that matter as it relates to your question? Because what's happening is the move to e-commerce is shifting to local stores. And so local stores are now selling their products online and partnering with like local delivery logistics companies that can actually deliver the product for them. Or somebody buys it online, they go pick it up, curbside. So the retail experience is going to shift and it's going to change, but we all are going to continue seeing each other in person, buying, transacting in person. I think it's just going to evolve.
But offices are going to change. For example, I'm locked into my lease pretty aggressively, but I was like, you know what? I would probably buy a storefront right now, lease a storefront for VaynerMedia, VaynerX probably. I would probably have a storefront on Madison Avenue, Times Square, or somewhere else. I would fit like 50 to 100 people in the office. They would literally come in. They would rotate. But I would create some sort of front-facing thing for just by accident customers or relationships, or to have clients have a coffee there, like have a bar or coffee. Like I can see a lot of offices going to the first floor, creating a front-facing coffee shop or bar for culture, and then on the back have 50 seats, even though they used to have 200, so that they are going to be able to do a rotation and create front-facing by accident awareness and culture. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about it. I think it's a really cool innovation.
Cool. So more of a branding play kind of with that, with the branding awareness stuff?
Even if you're B2B, why not? If you're a law firm and you got 67 lawyers in a 9th floor of an office building, the world's changing now. Real estate is collapsing, storefronts collapsing. Why not get a storefront now? Right? Have 30 people come in, rotate, that's the seats, open desk, hot desk, but then you have a receptionist, a little coffee, maybe you do consultation, maybe you do content. I was also thinking, I would put a studio in front, kind of like the TV networks do, and you could see, maybe I'm filming all my content. We could be filming commercials for clients right on Times Square as an agency. That's kind of cool, that's different. Maybe that space is worth something as a billboard. People are gonna start, listen, I'm a fucking innovator. And the reason I make a lot of predictions properly is because I know what I would do. I'm not going to get around to what I just said, but I'm hoping somebody just heard that and says, wait a minute, that's cool. I'm going to do that. And I also know I'm not the only one that's so special. There are plenty of other people that see around corners or see. I always think about life as, remember that thing we were taught as kids? Like, is it two people kissing or is it a champagne flute?
Yeah.
People see different shit. Everyone sees the obvious of like, we're never gonna fuck the office and we're not stores. I'm like, evolution.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff. I appreciate it, guys.
Cheers.
Good to have you on.
Gabrielle. Hey, Dustin, can you get Gabrielle proper? Maybe go to the next one and get the next person proper. Brad, what's good?
Brad.
Yeah, good. Thanks. How you doing?
Very good, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. My question, it's not like an ecom question, but they still said, come on and ask my question. So basically, I'm 21 years old, and ever since I was 16, I basically worked dead-end job to dead-end job. Basically trying to find my passion, as you could say. But like, I always seem to try something and think, oh, this is the one, and completely switch around and get bored of it. And like, I just want to find like my passion, but I just don't know like how to go about it, because I constantly think like, I've found it, but like I haven't, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Have you ever really gave a lot of thought to what you do when you're not working, like as a human being? Music, food, friends, how much have you, like, what do you do for hobbies, or how do you spend or waste your time?
So waste my time rather than spend it, like just
Well,
sports
I mean,
activities.
I think we all spend and waste time, and sometimes the way you waste your time is the insight. You love video games. That's how you're quote unquote wasting your time. Flip it, and that's how your life is going to change. You waste your time watching Netflix all day. Well, maybe you just like content a lot, and maybe either you start a podcast of judging content because you like doing it all day, or maybe actually it's an insight to you being a creator of content. I think people very much struggle finding their passion because they don't think that love are practical. I don't think they've been taught that that's not how you can make money.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just because like, it's like, I think at 21 years old, I mean, everybody else is like around me is getting on with their career.
They're not.
Well,
They're not. Anytime you start a sentence with everybody else, you're already in deep shit. That is the single reason you're feeling pressure. I don't give a fuck if all 19 of your 21-year-old best friends become Mark fucking Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. It has nothing to do with you. They're getting on with it, you think. You don't know if they're crying in their bedroom. You have no idea what they're getting on with. The fact that you're spending time worrying that they're on their way and you're not is going to lead you into a hole of never getting out of it. Comparison is a devastating thing, Brad. It's devastating.
absolutely. I think that's like where a lot of the pressure comes from, because like I'm constantly comparing instead of like realizing that, you know, everyone's on their own path in life, and I'm completely getting it.
Mate, I was working, I was a cashier at 21 years old in a liquor store. I wasn't getting on with shit, or I was getting on with everything. You know what I mean? Like, it all is perspective. Let me give you one really good piece of advice. Start by enjoying the fuck out of being 21, because notice how Zubin just reacted? Yeah. Just being 21 is fucking winning in life.
That's like, what I was going to say. You're look, again, Gary's given you amazing advice. All I can say is that you're trying to figure out that one passion right now and go, this is it, and I'm going to move on. Why not just enjoy the fact that you're hopping from one thing to another, trying to figure out what your passion is? You're going to look back in 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years and go, shit, I wish I was 21 trying to figure my shit out, and I wish I did more, and I wish I spent more time figuring it out than pursuing one. In my mind, you're doing much better than most people your age, most of your mates, because they're going down one path. You're jumping around until you find that path.
The question, Brad, is whose judgment on you are you accepting?
Yeah.
The real question here is whose words are dictating your anxiety? You know, is it your mom, your dad, your older brother and sister, your best friend, your girl, your boy? Like, who's fucking you up with them imposing their insecurities on you and you taking them on? Anybody that tells you you should have your life together at 21 is a fucking asshole. And if that's your mom, put her on screen right now. I'll tell her right to her fucking face. Like, fuck that bullshit, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Now I want you to live it. You need to pay attention to who's talking to you and who you're listening to.
And Brad, no one's got to figure it out, man. We're all still trying to figure it out.
Brad, I got it. Brad, I got it figured out. Let me give you the answer. I'm kidding, Zubin. But I got that. Let me tell you this. I don't have it figured out. I have this one figured out. To think that you have to have your shit figured out at 21 is fucking insane.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
To Zubin's point, the fact you're tasting all these things, that's what's interesting to me. Do more side jobs. You might be the greatest cook in the world. You have no idea. Go work at a fucking restaurant. Like, take risks. This is when it's practical.
Enjoy it, Brad. Smile.
And you have a great fucking smile. Brad, he's right. Like, what you need to do is make sure that you have positivity and optimism and patience. Like, I call it POP, right? Positivity, optimism, and patience in your ear over and over and over. That's how you win your 20s. Bro, 30 years old is a fucking child. Prompt. A child.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, thanks for that anyway.
Cheers.
All right,
Cheers,
cheers,
Brad.
guys.
All right, I got to bounce, and you've only got 3 minutes, and I know we want to help out somebody we're working with, so let's do that shit. That was awesome. Comments are epic. Oh, that's what's wrong.
I mean, there was a video submission. I don't know if you want to do that one. Or...
We're not gonna be able to sneak it in because Zubin's got. I want to make sure.
Yeah, for me, I'll contact that person directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
this was amazing. I absolutely love this. Thanks for
I'll talk to you soon.
doing this, Gary. Quick shout out to our client Bodybuilding that is doing a lot of amazing things. They're growing and they're looking to hire in a number of positions: product designer, senior product manager, lifestyle marketing manager, software developers, etc. I know we've got an amazing group of people listening in, tuning in. So if you're interested, go to jobs.bodybuilding.com, apply, make sure you mention Gary and me, and best of luck to you. To the rest of you, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope it was as beneficial for you as it was for me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of Coffee and Commerce. See you.